In the second week of our spiritual DNA, we are focused in the up dimension as we connect to Christ, and the D of our DNA, depend on God. Our entire worship service Sunday was focused on that up worship with God. And the sermon, the kids' message, the illustration of a marionette and how we are more connected up to God. The more we depend on God, the more full our life is. Let's take a look at our image for the spiritual DNA. As we look at our spiritual DNA, we want to focus up as we depend on God, like the image of the guy in the middle with his arms raised, looking up, worshiping God up as he depends on God. You know what? That kind of looks like a swing. Maybe if we look at it this way. Yeah, it really does look like a swing, doesn't it? Speaking of swings, let's take a look at this short video to see how important it is for us to depend on God and our connection up. I don't know if you were laughing or cringing during those videos. Those fail videos are funny, but failing to connect with Christ, failing to depend on God is not funny. It did not look like those people were having a good time as their connection up was failing. We saw people fly into the weeds, face plant, get sideways, and smash into trees. Well, let's take a look at what Jesus has to say about our connection up. We see Jesus speak these words in John chapter 15. In verse 5, he says, I am the vine, and you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Just like the people on the swings, when they were disconnected from their upward connection, they couldn't do anything. It ended up being kind of painful. But then Jesus goes on to say in verse 9, as the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. So our connection up as we depend on God is all out of love. Jesus came because he loves us, and our Father sent him to rescue us because of his love for us. And we get to remain in that love, rest in that love, depend on God, trusting in his love. And then in verse 11, we see Jesus say, I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. The greater our connection up, the more we depend on God, the more joy we have in our life. Like that marionette, the greater the connection up, the more full our life, the more the joy that Jesus has is in us.